What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Pod Scum. I'm your host, Reckless Rex Ruger. That, if you couldn't tell by the teeth, is the Freddie Mercury puppet. We're back with another banging episode of Pod Scum, and our guest is here, so we're getting down to the nitty-gritty. Let's do it. My God, punctuality is amazing. We're firing it right up. Instantaneously. No time to lose, no time to wait. At least I believe our guest is here. And of course, you know I don't edit anything. But, and I never will, because you know my motto here. You see me talking to my guests, figuring shit out, man. And I will not document, or excuse me, I will not edit any of this out. It's recorded for posterity's sake. It must be. And of course, you're looking at me and saying, where do I know you from? Well, you do know me as Diamond David Lee Roth Jr. The hard science will prove that very, very soon. Let me give myself a look here before my guest comes in here. Man, should be a crime to look this good, folks, but it's not. I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm not breaking any laws. I'm well within my rights to look this goddamn good. It's Rockstar Genetics, folks. There he is.
That was weird.
Boy, thank God that wasn't hard, huh, Ray?
And all I had to do was just click on there. What's happening, brother?
You know what? Sometimes technology just flat out sucks. It just does.
It's just like, what's up, man?
Well, also, man, we didn't grow up in an era with technology. I mean, I'm 51 years old. The fact that I have a podcast and even have figured out up to this point is remarkable. You know, it really is. I couldn't do much more than this.
Yeah, you know, if my boy Brando hadn't been around, I wouldn't know any of this shit.
Yeah. But, you know, it's the age of technology. You kind of got to play ball nowadays, you know? I mean, I don't even want to do half the stuff that I do, but because I post new episodes up, I got to keep people in the loop. So the podcast has to have a Facebook. Other than that, I don't go much farther than that, though. The Instagram, the TikTok, all that bullshit, I couldn't keep track of it all. It's too much.
Twitter, Twatter, X,
yeah,
it's all the same shit. Well,
it's way too much, man.
Good to be with you.
Yeah, I'm glad to have you on here, Ray. Usually when I start these things, man, I like to kind of go back and kick it off from the beginning, man. So was there a specific album or an artist or a song that really jump-started the whole music journey for you?
Oh, wow, man. It's hard to pinpoint the one thing. I mean, I think I had this conversation with someone last week. We're just rapping about whatever, but like when you're a kid, you hear stuff on the radio. You just can't help it, whether it's the Beatles,
right,
or whatever. For me, in my house, it was Beatles and Motown, so it was a lot of that. But then the one point that jumps started the whole rock thing, I think once you start to get into like Black Sabbath and Zeppelin, something triggers something in you as a kid. Then you go to the Midnight Special, and then it's Kiss Van Halen, and that triggers something, and then it goes from there. But there's no one point that I can think of. It's just from the kid. I think you collect musical steps as you go, and then at some point you just go, "Oh, I'd like to do that."
Yeah, and so you being a frontman and a vocalist, for you, your stage persona, your approach. Are there any frontmen out there, specifically frontmen, who you feel like you've kind of adopted the most from?
Oh, wow. Oh, that's good. No one's ever asked me that. Because we make a gumbo, don't we? We sort of take things in our minds and we make the most of it, So again, that goes back to the journey. I think of things like when I was a kid, like the Beatles, and as far as frontmen, the journey, you think of things like the Michael Jacksons, Elvis, as you collect and as you go on, Paul, frontmen. Mick Jagger, obviously. When I was a kid, it was Rod Stewart. Then it was you get into Bon Scott. But as far as and that all comes, it's a collective. Ozzy is a big one. Ozzy's a big one, and David Lee Roth. Watching that kind of circus act was a big one that made you want to jump around, get crazy, and do that.
Sure.
I'm a big James Brown guy. I just knew he was special from when I was a kid. I took in a lot of different frontmen, but I didn't really try to emulate anyone. Well, no, that's a lie. When I was a
Right.
kid, I had to think about David Lee Roth. I was in school with the bandanas around my ankle and shit. But I'm not a tall
Of
blonde
course.
guy. I wasn't David Lee Roth. I was more of a little crazy guy. So,
Yeah.
Bon Scott really affected me a lot.
I'm going around trying to convince people that I'm David Lee Roth Jr. So how delusional and out of touch with reality am I?
Oh, I got one. Here's one thing. I'm seeing a new Van Halen tribute band every other day when I go on the web. I just got
Are
tired
you?
of it. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody wants to be, it's funny how that comes around. But, if you're going to be in theater and entertain people, why not do a David Lee Roth thing, obviously?
Well, I'm glad you said that because, he is somebody that's got, there's a lot of opinions on him and a lot of opinions on a lot of these bands that have reached a legendary status, man. Do you think sometimes, man, like some of these people, stay at the party too long? Because, like, you have seen on the internet in the last couple of years, bands like Motley Crue and Kiss, really taking like a whipping, man, for not having the chops that they once did, though,
Oh yeah, I've been through that. I mean, look, if you have a certain bar when you're a kid, when you're
Yeah.
younger, there's a certain energy to your physicality and your vocal approach, and sometimes that's hard to recapture. But
Sure.
but there's a sense of like if you can't perform or at least give the vocal quality, the quality of what you used to have, where people go like, oh man, I can take that. He's doing a
Yeah.
great job. But there are cats that just stay in too long. You're like, what the fuck are they doing? Why
Yeah.
didn't just go somewhere like take a couple of months and work out or really work on the craft? Because for a while I left singing too. I lost a lot of muscle memory and stuff like that. It's taken me 2.5 years to get to the point where I feel like I'm singing comfortably again.
Right. Right.
But I see a lot of the ones that are obvious. There's obviously the obvious ones are out there. You can look at them and go, he shouldn't
Sure.
be doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. And now when I was preparing stuff to talk to you about, I did come across a couple of articles, and maybe you could touch on this a little more specifically, and whatever you're at liberty and feel comfortable talking about. But you did get a little disenfranchised, like with the music business for a while. It did step away.
Oh yeah, man. I went to a dark place. I'm one of those people that found drugs and just dove in head first, and it took me a
Yeah.
long time to come out. I'm like 7 rehabs into it.
Yeah.
For me, it's like it took me a long time to learn my lesson. I don't know why. Some people just go down a dark path, and
Sure.
it took away my career, took away a lot of friendships, all the money I had, all that kind of stuff. So had to build that back up again. But I just,
Yeah.
then when I was in that, when I would wake up once in a while, I would do some off-Broadway theater. I would do stand-up comedy. I would try anything to stay sort of like entertaining
Right.
wise, as an entertainer. But yeah, a lot of years, man, a lot of years I lost to drugs. It's sad but true.
Do you look back at it with like any kind of regrets and think like, geez, if I would have kept the rock and roll train going and it stayed in there, I'd be do you ever think about like I'd be in a different spot, or maybe I could be in a different spot, or further on down, like further on down the line?
Oh, sure, man. I mean, anybody that says they don't have any regrets in life is a fucking liar.
Bullshit.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
when you're given the keys to the car, and you go and you get the record deal quick, and you're out there touring, and I'm
Yeah.
sure I could have stuck it out and been on a different pay scale more than I am now. It's like it could always be. It always took away. When you walk away from a career for a long period of time, that's a lot of time to make up.
Yeah. And what was the
Yeah.
impetus for bringing you back? Obviously you're talking about rehab and trying to get clean or whatever, but I mean, like, what was the actual, like, was there a moment like, that made you say, I got to get back into doing music?
I think it was just I missed it. When you start to get sober and you clean yourself of all the bullshit, the music affected me a certain way, and I had a hard time going to shows and watch other people doing it. And I just couldn't really
Yeah.
enjoy it. I said, man, if I could just do it, I would enjoy everything much more. So now I appreciate other bands and going out to shows and hanging with musicians, because I'm in it. You know what I mean? But when
Yeah.
you step away, you're like, fuck that, man. I don't want any part of it. I know a lot of guys that really got, that got butt hurt from the business, and they just leave and they never come back. They're never
Right.
the same.
Oh
But
yeah.
if you have, if it's in you and you love it, you're going to try your best to get back to doing it, at a
Yeah.
high level.
And nowadays, I talk to so many musicians on here, and touring is such a vital part of a musician's income nowadays. Getting out there, playing live, and hoping that some of your merchandise, will go out the door with people. Where do you stand on touring right now? As you get older, it's sometimes I imagine it could probably be tough. That kind of nomadic existence where you're out and you're away from your creature comforts and you're on the road. Probably gets a little tougher. To pull yourself away from home as you get older. Do you still enjoy the touring part of the business?
That's a great question. Wow, you're loaded. Really,
I try, Ray.
Excuse me. It's a lot to. I think when you're younger and you jump on a tour bus,
yeah,
there's a certain attitude that goes with that. You're like a new kid with a new toy.
Sure.
When you're, I still like. To me, it's anything to get in the box.
Yeah.
When I'm in the box, I'm in my sweet spot. I'm in my happy place. So whatever it takes to get there. But it's a lot of like waking up early, packing the bag, traveling, so learning how to sleep on planes, trains, and automobiles.
Yeah.
You try to eat the best you can. That's still a thing. There's not the best food out on the road, but there are some options now, and it is hard. If you're this isn't for the weak. The business is a touring business. It used to be we had the music business, that's gone. We tour and we sell it. We are door-to-door salesmen, and we go from place to place and we sell our wares, and you help us out, and we keep going. You support the band, and it goes on and on. But man, the long drives, the living out of a suitcase, the repack every night, you're unpacking, you're repacking. You're not getting enough sleep, and nobody wants to pack a bag when they're half awake. You know what I mean? Getting on the plane, changing planes, having to change cities, layover flights in Europe and UK are no joke. It's it's a lot of work. And if your heart and soul's not into it, then it's going to be a drag. So now I enjoy the fact that I do get to travel, that I do get to be with my guys, and it's a pleasure, man. But when it's like pizza, when it's great, it's great. And when it's bad, it's still kind of great. You know what I mean? Like if you're getting bitch and moan, if you're in this and you're an older cat and you don't like it, get the fuck out. You know what I mean? It's not for you. So it's a lot of work. It's not for the weak. And you gotta be where you gotta be, and that's it. I when the days of drag and you get to the venue and people are really sweet to you and they're connecting with your music, and for me, it's special because I took a long time away from this business. So to reconnect with the people that dig what I do is special. So I give them all the time they want, man. And that's why I love it.
Do you feel like now, because you took that hiatus and you've come back to it like later in life with a different mindset, that it is easier to kind of savor it now?
Oh yeah, man. It's like you appreciate it. You really, it's going to sound corny, but you really appreciate, you don't know what you got till it's gone, man. And when you get a chance to do it again, it's an awesome thing to connect with people and with something that you wrote. This isn't like some tribute shit. We're doing original. We're an organic, original rock band. And we just, that's all there is to it. And I love doing it.
I'm glad you brought up creating original music, though. So when you get together with either one of your bands, Spread Eagle, SupaFly, no matter what you're creating with, what is your creative process like? Like when you get your band together, man, is someone bringing in the lion's share of the ideas? Are you guys getting together and collaborating?
Well, Spread is the collaborative.
Okay.
And he who brings in the songs doesn't dictate. But if someone brings in a whole piece, we're all going to jump on it and retweak it. With SupaFly, it's different. SupaFly is myself and Miguel Gonzalez, just two guys writing. We'll just sit in a room and bang stuff out off each other. Spread's different. Robbie, our bass player, is a great songwriter. He brings a lot of stuff to the table, and therefore, it's like I do play off him quite a bit because he has the same sense of phrasing as me. He has the same sometimes he'll write for me, and I'm like, I can't. I'm not going to touch that. That's perfect. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You look at the Subway to the Stars album. It's a collaborative, but there's a lot of Rob on there. And it's like, man, that's really good. I couldn't sing that. I couldn't think of a better idea to put there. So why should I battle it?
But that's nice that you leave that door open, though. That's nice that you leave that door, because a lot of people are kind of closed-minded. And like you think of a band like early Metallica. It was just like James and Lars writing everything and telling the guys what to do.
Yeah, there sometimes has to be a nucleus. There has to be an idea, a vision. You know,
Yeah.
and then you're gonna fight for your vision. But if it's a collaborative, it kind of goes through the machine and it gets molded. And everybody puts their hands on it. You know,
Right.
and nothing leaves the room unless everybody likes it.
Yeah. And
You
what's
know,
the
so
impetus when you're going to create music? What's the impetus? Like, where do you draw inspiration from? Like, personally, like you, are you like a somebody that gets inspiration from movies or the newspaper or like news or everyday life? Like, what's the creative well that you draw off of?
oh, it's the personal experience. I can only write about what I know.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not gonna write some bullshit about something I don't know. But if I can, it's gonna sound so cheesy. But if I can paint a picture of something I saw into words,
Yeah.
that's awesome. You know,
Yeah.
and it's more like trying to create a feeling. I'm not a story writer, but I can put an experience onto paper and try to make people relate to that. And that way makes people can take the lyrics and they can do with it whatever the fuck they want.
Right. Right.
You
It's
know?
very subjective too. People seem to put their own meanings onto what you create anyway, you know?
And I try not to be too, me, like not make it crazy. I'm not so self-indulgent, but I do like to write, with something I'm like, am I saying it right? Am I saying it in a cool way? Like
Yeah.
that matters. It's really for me, it's about taking the idea and trying to say it as cool as possible.
And do you feel like when you write music, you feel like because of everything that you've been through, that in some way it's cathartic for you?
Oh, big time, man.
Yeah.
After the experiences I've had,
Yeah.
every if I can put my experience into something and have it mean something, and then it connects with someone.
Yeah.
But the whole thing about putting it on paper, when you hear the mix back and you're like, wow,
Right.
it makes sense to me now. I wasn't just thinking crazy shit. Look at that, it's actually sounding pretty good.
Yeah, I know. It actually does. Yeah, and we started to see the trend around COVID time with since people couldn't get out and tour, we saw like a lot of influx of music being released, a lot of singles, a lot of EPs. For your bands, what do you think the best format is? Do you like the singles or the EP route, or do you still like a fully realized LP?
I love a fully realized piece of
Yeah,
work. I do,
yeah,
but I'm also, a realist in it, and things evolve. So if I also dig the fact that if you can do it, piecemeal, I'm cool with that. If people
yeah,
want one song at a time, I'm cool with that. As long as we have
yeah,
songs to do it. I'm not gonna write, oh my God, I put everything into one song and I go write another one. It's like you gotta write pieces.
yeah.
We're always creating. I don't want to play catch up anymore. We used to, back in the day when Spread first got signed, we were catching up. We wrote like 5 or 6 tunes. We got signed. Oh, we had to write the rest of the record. Second
Right.
record, we got off the road. We got to write the rest of the record. So it's always nice now as older cats to write real cool pieces and have them all together.
And you guys do this yourself, or are you still under the umbrella of a label?
Oh, we are under the umbrella of a label. We know, but that's all about marketing. You need them.
Yeah,
You need their machine.
yeah,
If it wasn't for Frontiers, no one would know about this. Subway to the Stars album. It's like you got to keep it real, man. If we had thousands upon thousands of dollars to throw into marketing, we would. But we need a machine.
were you worried about the reception of Subway to the Stars because there hadn't been an album since 1993, if I'm not mistaken? Correct?
Yeah, with me, it was more like, I guess my anxiety came from like, this is my voice where it is now. And I
Yeah,
hope that our people, the people that got turned on to the first record, the
right.
vocal is very high and raspy and acrobatic, and as you sing further, you realize you don't have to sing at 100 miles an hour up here.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
want to use the whole thing. So as I got into this, I realized that I want to develop more tone. So I found more of my center. So the Subway to the Stars is an evolution of where we're at as musicians, where I'm at as a singer. And when I did that, I was, took a lot of years off singing, really. So since Subway was written, I've gotten stronger. So I think the next album that we're writing will be even more of an evolution.
And are you somebody that, because you do use your throat as your instrument, are you somebody that ascribes to any type of regimen as far as like voice care?
Yeah, a big
Yeah,
thing is on the road, it's being quiet. It's hard to talk to folks after a gig. We
yeah,
do merch, but during merch, I don't do it very long, and I try to just shut it down real quick.
yeah.
Like I just can't talk that much, and people they're cool about it. And there's also like warming up. I don't really warm down anymore. It's like I have a short regimen of like 10 minutes. that I will do maybe like 15 minutes to 20 minutes before set time. I won't fuck with it other than that. And it's just like some vocal pitch work, some sirens, a couple of scales. And I use something called the Dr. Pocket Vocals, which is a bottle with a kind of built-in straw. It sort of does the whole air thing, and you control a very small pocket of air. And,
that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah,
so they've come along. Yeah, like they've come a long way and developed stuff. I think the old formula probably just used to be you just blow out your voice and then fucking figure it out. But
hey, listen, when I was in our first touring days, it was 3 shots of Cuervo, and I went.
Yeah, jump right
that
up
was
there.
My warm up,
Yeah.
And then I would warm down. I finish a gig, smoke weed, whatever else I could intake, and I would go on. But you really do got to take care of yourself, man. I'm older. The chords are a little more worn, so I really got to treat them right,
I used to do every episode. After going out and smoking some weed. And then back in May, I got fucking pneumonia, and it scared the fucking shit out of me. And now I'm only doing edibles. I'm completely off smoking anything. And there are parts of me that miss it, man. But that fucking pneumonia scared the shit out of me.
I bet, man.
I was just coughing and purging up shit, and I'm just like, holy fuck, man. This is my lungs just emptying everything out, man. But it terrified me,
Nothing is as scary as your body turning on you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I'm a nurse. That's my day job. So, it's scary, you know what I mean? Because I see people go through it all the time. And I know that the lungs aren't meant to be like abused. I mean, I know people will say marijuana smoke is certainly better than a cigar or a pipe or a cigarette or whatever. But you are still really aren't, the body's not really made to take smoke into your lungs. You know what I mean? Your body's still probably like, I know this is weed smoke, but what the fuck are you doing to me?
Yeah, it's supposed to be a pristine thing. It's supposed to treat it like that,
Right, right.
Like the cigarettes, man. It's like I know cats that's still smoking. That goes to the doctor, get told they got cancer. They're still smoking.
Oh yeah, I see it all the time at work. Yeah,
the body goes, especially on the road, man. Oh my God, we try to get as much sleep when we can. Going back to the other question, sleep, and rest. Rest is truly the best medicine.
Yeah, and hydration, I imagine, is probably pretty important too.
Staying hydrated.
Man. Yeah.
I never used to drink water. Beer's me with water.
Yeah,
it is water. And you just learn, man. You learn that if you're gonna do something repetitively and at a very high level and as high energy as you possibly. I mean, you're yelling for like an hour and a half.
Yeah, essentially.
So you're gonna get dehydrated. You got to drink lots of water. Rob is great. Rob always. Well, sometimes he'll carry the big gallon thing all day.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, dude, man, come on.
That's a serious water drinker right there. He's not fucking around. And so, what was the impetus? You're back in full swing. You're doing Spread Eagle. What was the driving force behind starting up SupaFly?
I think that it's. I've always been more of like I do like heavy music. I like my music really to have a lot of emotional content.
Yeah,
I'm a fan of like heavy, tuned down bands.
Yeah,
Spread is a hard rock band.
Right.
But the cool thing about Spread is, we have a really wide palette. We can get really heavy and aggressive or whatever. But SupaFly is more like it's my calling card, my individual taste. Like I'm in a collaborative with Spread. SupaFly is really my taste and Miguel's taste. You know what I mean? He's like, so it's like if I write a lyric or a melody, that's it. You know what I mean? Makes us like, let's go. It's not like where someone just says, well, I can add to that melody or something like that. But the representation, say from SupaFly is, we even redid a KC song on there called I'm the Boogeyman. I like to take songs that are funky, got a whatever disco beat, and make them heavy as fuck and make them cool.
And now you say it's you and Miguel doing the creating, but is it a fully realized band though?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We started SupaFly as just he and I in a writing project. To do, let's just have some fun and do something cool, And then around that we have a band. So now for the future writing, it's not just us two anymore. We're adding more people to the mix. So we got a very good guitar player, and he's quite creative. So he likes to write as well. So I would like to write another SupaFly album. We have things written. So, along with me doing Spread, I got to make time to do SupaFly because I don't want to lose touch of that. But
I like that you're talking about writing because I brought up the band's creative process, but for you individually, when you're going to sit down and put pen to paper and you're going to write, what's the routine for you? Like I have a lot of guys that come on here who say they get great ideas while they're driving in the car, and they sing it into their cell phone, or they write it down, or they get ideas at their day job, or there's creative types who go into a room and sequester themselves away and focus on writing and creating. What type of creative are you?
Oh, I'm the guy that gets it from thin air and has to put it right away. It usually happens if I'm on the bicycle or definitely driving. So the problem is with me, I have really bad ADHD. So if I don't write it or record it right away, it's gone.
Yeah.
So I'm lucky to have those times when I, get some energy and it hits me, but I always make time. If it hits me, then I'm going to take time to chisel it out. But I do not sit for 5 hours at a time and do disciplined songwriting.
You can't force yourself to do it. Yeah.
I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
I used to crack up people say, "Oh, that I wrote that in 3 minutes because it came out of thin air."
Yeah.
Nobody does that. But we have a song on SupaFly called Hypothermia that it happened.
Yeah.
I heard a little riff and I'm like, holy fuck, I'm ready. Let's record a vocal. And it was done.
And is that typically the way you do it? Do you do it like hard copy, like on paper, or like, or is the phone an important piece? Like, do you hum stuff into the phone or put stuff into the phone?
My voice memos are full.
Yeah. Yeah.
If this, what happens is sometimes, I don't know, sometimes on the phone, an app will just open and start playing.
Yeah.
So I'll be with people and you get like, what I mean? Like, what the fuck is that?
Hey, that was a spark of inspiration. God damn it.
Yeah. I mean, it comes, you get it when you can. I'm not, like I said, I know cats that are really great disciplined writers that can sit with an acoustic and just go all day.
Yeah.
I think I'm just different. I'm just so ADD that I just can't sit still.
I'm not so sure that's all that organic either, though. That does seem a little bit forced sometimes, though. You know what I mean? Like, I think when it comes spontaneously, it's a little more magical.
Yeah, it's less wear and tear. It's less anxiety ridden. And so, I'm not going to let it make me. I've learned now I don't have to let it make me crazy. Inspiration comes, it comes. If I have to force it, I will.
Yeah.
But I'm happy just to sit and let it come, let it hit me. Usually comes when I hear a riff. Yeah. Or what else happens, and I will be honest with you. If I hear a song on the radio or whatever, or on my Spotify, and sometimes the melody will catch me and it will make me write. Right. Even though there's lyrics and melody coming at me, it helps me to write to it. And I can use that for something else.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So if that works for me, I like to have music on that I can that triggers something. When it triggers it, I start writing.
What about your own listening trends from a fan standpoint? Like if you're puttering around your house or you're cleaning or, you're listening to music for your own enjoyment. I, for a while, was guilty of being that stodgy old fucker that would just like lean back on his old favorites. And I was finding a hard time finding new music that was, that was challenging and that I found interesting. Are you somebody that if you're going to listen to music, kind of listens to, stuff from the past, or are you able to find any new music or new bands out there that really kind of, get you excited?
I'm really eclectic. So being that we travel a lot, I get turned on to a lot of new music.
Yeah.
And what happens with me is that I'll put it in my liked. So I just, whenever I'm traveling, I just put on my like songs on my Spotify.
Yeah.
And then it's just the most eclectic thing. I'll hear I'll get Hotel California or Victim of Love, and then it'll be like, Royal Blood, Lights Out, or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm a 70s cat. I like 70s music.
Yeah.
So 70s hits is cool with me. I'm Steely Dan, Chicago, all that stuff. I'm a huge fan of, but then again, I got my funk list. I ride the line between like heavy rock and a lot of soul and funk music, like Motown rock.
I'm kind of in that wheelhouse too. Yeah, I've been going down a big rabbit hole of a lot of Motown and a lot of soul music lately too.
Yeah, man. The other day was all spinners in the car, and I just ran down the whole gambit. But I really am a product of like a mother who listens to a lot of Motown and a father that listens to like a lot of rock, Motown, and Latin salsa.
Yeah, so you would say growing up in your house, there was a lot of music. It was very prevalent in your house.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
The record player was always going, and that's right. I said a record player was always going.
Yeah.
I would take rides. Me and my pops would go to a drag strip and see drag races. So it was about a 30, 40-minute ride. On that ride, I got my education in Zeppelin, Sabbath, Santana. Cool. He was great like that. And mom would just play the Supremes or whatever.
And my father turned me on to a lot of great music too, man. That really is true, man. Yeah, as much as you fight it and bag on their music when you're young, you do end up listening to your parents' fucking music.
Yeah, I mean, I think music is like that. If whatever triggers that thing in you, Matt, it's I do wax nostalgic. With my mom, and my dad. Frankie Valli in the Four Seasons.
Yeah.
You know, da, 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 da,
Yeah.
da, da. I love all that, man. And I don't, if it comes on, I don't direct it. I just take it in. You know, I still, you know, the Saturday Night Fever comes on. I listen to that.
Although I don't know what they're doing to Frankie right now, though. They're just pushing him out on the stage, and I'm pretty sure he might have died a couple years ago, and nobody told him. I don't know. He looks. Have you seen videos of him recently?
He's a clone, bro.
Yeah, I mean the lips. I mean the lips look barely moving, and I'm questioning whether he even has a pulse out there. I mean, I'm not so sure.
They got the whole family behind him. The whole, you know, the other rest of the band. And he sings like one line, like he comes out.
Yeah. I mean, God bless him. The guy's well into his 90s, but you'd think that he would have already paid off that nut with the mafia by now and been able to like kind of kick back a little bit and relax.
Hey, man. I mean, you know, the Stones broke the mold that you can do it. You can do this till you rock.
Yeah,
it used to be when we were younger, rock and roll was about youth.
Yeah.
You know, and thank God there's still kids playing organic music and playing the instruments. But rock and roll, man. I mean, look, you got these cruises where everybody in their 50s and 60s and 70s is going out on these cruises, and enjoying their heyday. And then you got, you know, the younger kids doing their edge cruise, whatever. But you know, rock and roll is a lifestyle.
Yeah. And I don't believe you can say it's just a young man's game either, because there are a lot of bands out there. I'm 51 years old. A lot of the thrash and metal bands that I grew up listening to are still out there fucking doing it to a high level, you know?
Bro, it's all here and it's here.
Yeah.
You know, if you are it's a way of life.
Yeah.
If you want to leave that way of life, you will age. Because I know a lot of people that whether they're not in bands anymore or they just don't listen to music anymore, they're just the mindset's different. You know, our rock and roll folk, we love music. It makes us feel a certain way. We talk a certain way. We dress a certain way because that's how we feel. It's a sense of freedom what we gave ourselves by this.
Yeah.
You know, listening to rock music makes us feel free. Playing music makes us feel free. Talking freely on a podcast, free. Yeah. You know, and there's cats that you'll meet people that are your age that don't have rock in their lives, and they're done.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought up the word meet right there. You know, in your travels and touring around and stuff, have you had the chance to meet any people that, I don't want to say fanboy or starstruck, but people that you just couldn't believe that you got a chance to meet?
You mean as far as me meeting a celebrity or something like that?
Yeah.
I have met a lot of people. Because I got to meet like Glenn Hughes and people like that. You know, to me, I'm a huge Glenn Hughes fan.
Stuff that really just blew you away. Yeah.
Yeah, man. And I saw him sing on the cruise, blew my fucking mind.
Yeah.
So there are people that just take my breath away musically. You know, everybody I've met has been pretty cool.
Yeah.
You know, most people will shake your hand and give you, you know, congenial, cordial greeting. You know, really, that's about it. I try not to really, if someone is of name, I try not to bug them.
Yeah.
You know, what I get a kick more out of is like meeting the people that really connect with me from far away.
Yeah.
And that is what really makes me humble and throws and it really freaks me out, you know.
Because it is a little nauseating. People think that because like they're you know, I think the regular person sees somebody that they deem as famous, and I think they almost think like this person owes them something, you know what I mean? And like that can get a little bit bothersome, you know. The other side of that sword is you'll see a celebrity act a certain way, off-putting to somebody, and then people in the comment section will say, oh, that person you know, owes them a piece of their time or something. But like, where do you draw the line? These people don't have a right to have a life or be out to dinner with their family or like anything. Like they've got to stop and take pictures and sign shit for you. Like they're like a trained monkey, you know? I mean,
well, you know, people are human, man. You know what I mean? People. Like if a person, usually with me, who I meet, if they won't give me the time and I really approach them in a respectful manner, fuck them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I know what it's like when people approach me and want to just chat. I know that if someone takes the time to be nice to you and kind and cordial, and through music, and it's something you wrote and they appreciate, man, how can you not give them the time of day?
I agree. Yeah.
You know, this business is not for assholes anymore. I think there was the day when you could be an asshole and you were untouchable and people really didn't know about you, but now people people know if you're an asshole, you're gonna get found out. And this business is really small, and there's no room for that shit.
Yeah, really, I think technology has made that even more prevalent too. Though, could be you know, because now cameras are everywhere. People can find out everything about you nowadays, man. So like, you're always under a microscope out there, you know.
Yeah, man. I mean, you do a show. There's people put the camera in your face.
Yeah.
You know, we just came from Europe and there was people doing it there. I'm like, you know, but I've done some shows where people are just really into what the moment and they lay back, and that's pretty cool too. It's cool when you find that. But
Well, I
yeah,
think
and nothing, there's no moment that's not captured. There's no emotion that's not captured. You got to be cool with people, or you're gonna feel bad about that.
I think taking the phone out at a concert is cool. You know, if you want to record like a snippet of your favorite song, or you know, for posterity's sake, you want to show it to somebody that didn't get to the show. But I hate. I'm seeing this trend a lot where people will take videos of concerts, then they go home and put it up on YouTube, and it's all about being like an armchair music critic, blasting the band for not sounding a certain way, not as good as they once were,
Right.
or you know, or they're trying to blow you in for I think they're using backing tracks, or I caught them doing this cheating or that cheating or whatever. So I mean, you know, that's kind of a rotten thing to do.
But can you imagine how miserable of a life they have?
Yeah,
Think about
yeah,
it. They got nothing else to do but rag on other people. This is just the whole culture, though, of like
yeah,
sitting behind your screen and calling somebody a fucking this and that, and they
yeah,
can't touch you. So
yeah,
I mean, to go out, if you're gonna go out to a show, not to be in the moment, not to appreciate what's happening and be a part of it, why go out at all?
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, you know, usually those people don't count. You know, they got maybe like 2 followers. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
Uh, it,
I almost wish
I do think reaction shows are funny. Like a reaction videos to something can be
Oh, those are
goofy,
cool. Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
But
But
I almost wish rock shows approached it like stand-up comedy shows do. Like stand-up comedians don't want that material to get out or whatever, man. So like they actually will have people lock up their phones or like put them in, you know, it'd be nice if rock concerts did that. Like, look, you know what I mean? Like, you know, be
yeah,
here in the moment, man. Fuck the phone for a couple hours, you
I
know?
agree. I agree. But
You
people want
know?
to be a part of it. So for them to be part of it, they feel like taking out the phone and videoing it for a little bit is make them part of it.
Yeah.
You know, they put it out and they're like, "Oh, I was there. This was something I
Right.
experienced." And, you
Right.
know, but they usually sound like shit.
Yeah.
They're not put in the sweet. People got like I went through this whole thing last year. If you're gonna video a show, go to the sweet spot in the room.
Yeah.
Don't go to the monitor below where the singer's feet are or whatever. You
Yeah.
know, make it at least make it sound good. Get the room, and your phone's still not gonna be able to capture the room because your phone's gonna sound like shit.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
So until
Yeah.
people just get over it and just learn to be back in the moment, I don't feel they have to keep up with everyone else and record, or it's going to be a thing.
Well, we're talking about
I've
live show.
accepted it.
We're talking about live shows. So you as a fan, is there one or two shows that really stick out that you remember as being monumental that you attended?
Oh wow, it's easy. Kiss. That was the original Kiss
Yeah.
back in the 1900s. Van Halen back in the 1900s.
Yep.
It's all back. All my moments are back in the 1900s.
Yeah.
There's a few like the Eagles.
Yeah.
The Eagles was the big one for me. Also Sade was a big one for me.
Yeah.
But as far as, you know, like shows that stick with me, the Van Halen shows when I was a kid was like going to the circus.
Yeah.
People who didn't experience that, you know, will never ever understand what it was really like.
Yeah, I just had this conversation with a kid yesterday from a death metal band, and no matter how extreme of metal music you play, everybody, regardless of genre or not, everybody has a reverence for Eddie Van Halen if they're a guitar player. Everybody.
Because it was just a live, the experience to witness it live. He was, you know, he was like so fresh, and the style, you know, the approach, the innovativeness was so cool, and had never been seen before in that kind of setting. You know, the volume of a Van Halen show, the
Yeah.
set of a Van Halen, the lighting of a Van Halen show,
Yep.
just the way it felt to be, you know, with kids and having a crazy time when the lights first came on and David Lee was just start jumping around. It
Yep.
was like you were at the fucking circus.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I saw Kiss when I was very young. Kiss Alive 2 tour, and with all original band members, so I got to witness them in their prime. What that was like for me, so that made me go like, I want to do that.
Yeah, that's one of those bands that pisses me off that we were still talking about earlier. That's really been taking like a beating. And you know what? I defy people to replicate anything that they did 30 years ago. We're not the same person. So you know, if they're doing backing track, first of all, I think Kiss has always been a performance band. I don't think even they've ever claimed to be the greatest musicians. When you go see Kiss, it's for the whole spectacle. You know,
That's right.
You know,
It's a
all the
live show.
pyro, the blood from Gene's tongue, the fire, the flames, all that stuff or whatever. So you know, if they're piping some backing tracks in there to beef Paul's sound up a little bit, I mean, it's still them singing, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, so be it, man. I mean, who can do what they did 30, 40 years ago? People want to go in there and they want Kiss to be the Kiss from 1977. That's just irresponsible and lazy comparisons, you know?
Yeah, well, those are the people that fall into the cracks, into that gray area.
Yeah.
You know? You enjoy something, but there's always that guy in the back on.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, he's always there.
I can't do that, so I got to bitch about it. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, you know, enjoy the fact that you were alive during the time that you were able to witness something like that, you know?
There's two kinds of people: the kind that do, and the kind that fucking hate that they do it.
Yep, that's true. That's well said. Now, I got a couple more subjective questions for you here. For you, again, another subjective question. For you, who would be your Mount Rushmore, your top 4 musical artists of all time for you?
Oh, for me. Well, okay. It was Elvis.
Yep.
That's a big deal for me.
He belongs on everybody's Mount Rushmore, probably.
Yeah. There is Michael Jackson. He was very special.
Okay.
Wow. That's a hard one. I gotta think about that one.
That's all right.
Motherfucker. You're a real motherfucker asking me that. Wow.
That's why I kind of save it for kind of towards the end, you know? I mean,
yeah, I gotta think about that because I've experienced so much music.
Yeah.
And of course, because of the way I grew up in a very live music environment, I experienced so many live concerts that affected me. That it's hard. I mean, I could say like Phil Mogg from UFO affected me greatly.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, as a song stylist, as a performer, just the way he was just cool.
But you're not sure if you want him on a Mount Rushmore, though.
Yeah, man. But my Mount Rushmore could be different from anybody.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I've had guys in metal bands on here that'll put up a Mount Rushmore. There's not a metal act on there.
Because now we're gonna talk. But now you'd have to think about singers, frontmen, and then there's guitar players. So there's too many different for me.
Right.
I love Mick Jagger. I love John Lennon. I'm huge. Bono goes on my Mount Rushmore.
Okay.
So I'll give you that. Bono goes on my Mount Rushmore. Michael and Bono are 2 of them.
And Elvis. You've got Elvis up there too. So you only need 1 more.
Yeah. So it's a toss-up between Ozzy and Plant. Ozzy means a certain amount. Ozzy means a great deal to me.
Well, we'll chisel a 5th face on the fucking Mount Rushmore and say fuck it and do both of them, right?
There you go.
Fuck it,
And then there's many mountains to put faces on. So I got so many, brother. I got so many.
And now you might have an easier answer for this one. Now, if I were to take you, Ray West, and drop you on a desert island, and you can only take 1 album, what would be the desert island album?
Holy shit! Might be okay.
Now, remember, you got to live on this island. And essentially, I guess the dark part of this is the soundtrack to your fucking death, I guess, because you're on a desert island with this fucking album. So,
wow.
Yeah. Choose wisely, I guess, is the best advice I could give. I mean,
yeah. All right. Well, I groove to Sade all the time.
Okay.
So if I'm on an island and it's tropical, I'm gonna do Sade Lovers. The love.
And that would probably be like a calming effect too, because it is kind of depressing that you're on this island with this 1 album, and you probably do want something that's not really one specific genre of music. You kind of want to go through the gamut of emotions, Yeah,
I'm gonna take Lovers Rock with me.
Okay, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. Now, this is a question right here that's a little polarizing. I haven't been doing it for that long. Most people have played ball and answered it, though. But if we were to barter with God and get a dead rock star back, who would we want back, and who could we give to God in exchange? There's got to be somebody out there that you can't stand that you're willing to give up right now, man. But first of all, who would we want back? Now, I will say that the very first one of these that I did, the person took Dimebag Darrell back and was willing to give up Harry Styles. And I don't even know who the fuck that even is, but...
Well, I'll give him Adam Levine, number 1. Let's give him Adam Levine.
Okay, so Adam Levine is gone. Here you go, God.
He's
Take
gone.
Adam Levine, yeah.
do that, and then of course, let's just bring Eddie back.
Bring Eddie Van Halen back.
Yeah.
Now, what is it about Adam Levine? I mean, he's never going to do my show, so we can talk crap about him on here, man. What is it about him, man, that you say the world would be better off without him?
I find him to be, as a personality, irritating and cold.
Yeah.
You know, and very, I guess maybe because he was on that movie, the show The Voice, quite a bit.
Yeah.
I find him to be just a very cold.
Yeah, it's kind of a double-edged sword for me too, man. Because when you watch those shows, man, like you feel like you got to be a special kind of asshole to go on there, and you're almost looking down your nose at people. No, you're good enough, but you're not good enough.
Yeah,
you know
and I like Maroon 5. I do like their music, but I just his personality just grated me a little bit. I don't know what it is. I was
worried when Steven Tyler did American Idol too, man, because I thought, fuck, man, is Steven Tyler, who's so affable and gregarious and funny and such a bigger than life personality, is he going to turn into some fucking cold fuck on there, man? Thankfully, he didn't do the show for too many years, and he seemed to still keep enough of Steven Tyler, his personality in the show.
He was himself, man. That show fucked up that whole like American Idol mentality of like, you know, the corporatizing of a pop star and making one, putting them out and putting them in this corporate. I fucking hate that.
Doesn't sit well. Yeah.
You know, but it's because it's like everything rock and roll is against.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, the corporate machine. Let's. It's competitive. Rock and roll shouldn't be competitive. There is a point of competition. When you play live with other bands, you do want to be the best.
Right. And also, man, like, and also, are those kids really paying their dues? Are they just getting like the fucking, like the free fucking, you know, they're just getting the free pass, you know, they're just being stamped already and said, you know, hey, you're a superstar. And then they go out in the world and they believe it, you know, and then they go out there and they rub up against people that have really been grinding it out in little shitty clubs and really like learning their chops over the years, you know?
And then again, you know, you find those pearls, but again, man, you've got the passing of judgment started there.
Yeah.
You know, people like having judgment on a vocalist, somebody who's, you know, some kid busted his ass to get on that show, whatever, you know, and he had a bad night, but he gets shit on.
Yeah, then you got somebody like Paul Abdul who gets her songs written for her, fucking telling you that you're no good, you know, like
you've got entertainers passing judgment on vocalists. If you're a great vocalist, that's different.
Yeah.
You know, put Mariah Carey on there, whatever. I understand that people that have been in the studio, that know what it's like to be, you know, in the studio and everybody just, the voices in your head, it's an uncomfortable place, that know the experience. But if people that don't know the experience, fuck them. They shouldn't be there. But that's entertainment.
Yep. Yeah. Now, so the Vibe, which I absolutely love, that just came out this year, man. But the last Spread Eagle album was 2019. So I'll start with Spread Eagle first. I would be remiss if I didn't get to this for fans that want to know. Should they be expecting anything new from Spread Eagle? What's going on in the Spread Eagle world?
Yes. We are actively writing the next record. We just
so you feel maybe 2025 is a feasible timeline? Would there be new Spread Eagle?
I do. Sometime in 20, that would be a dream. In 2025, that would be great to get it out and ready by maybe the third quarter of the year. You know, that's how I see it, because we're touring so much and playing so many shows, you know, because we have to.
Right.
That we have to block out time for that. So that takes a lot of scheduling, and we got to do it the right way.
And obviously, I just said you just put out the Vibe here in 2024, but because people seem to be putting out music in more of a rapid rate, like it used to be, the formula was, you know, back in the 80s and the 90s, you put out an album and you tour, and the album is out there for a while, and then it's 3 to 5 years between like your next project or whatever. When would you like to be? What's the timeline for the next? I know this one just came out, or whatever, but what's the timeline when you start to write and prepare for the next SupaFly project?
So SupaFly can be like, sometimes it's done a few pieces at a time.
Okay.
I think we've got about 6 or 7 ideas.
Okay.
Whether we're going to do a whole album, I don't know. I'd like to just do an EP for SupaFly.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's easier and just more digestible. SupaFly doesn't need to do a whole album.
Right. And I think even though we're old school guys and we're both in that same age range, you know, we were talking about liking like the long play form and a fully realized album, man. But unfortunately, you know, the general public's attention span has dwindled. It sadly has become almost an EP world now.
Yeah, and like I said, my ADHD it's great. I love my
Yeah.
Spotify because I just go all over the place.
Yeah,
I
me
can do
too.
playlists, so I have no problem. Like, again, Superfly I have a little more personal control of, so I would
Yeah.
like to. Right now we worked with Deco to help me put out some copies. They were great. So I'm discussing with them and exactly what to do, but I'd like to do it. Maybe an EP would be great.
And where's the best place to find out what's going on with both bands? The Spread Eagle, is there a spreadeagle.com or a website, or is Facebook or Instagram the best place to check out Spread Eagle?
Right. Well, Spread Eagle is spreadeagle.us.
Okay.
We're on X. We're on Facebook. We're on Insta. I believe there's
Gotta be.
a TikTok page too. So and Superfly is also on Facebook. I believe it's superflymusic.com. Superfly's been quiet because I've been doing spread, so it's hard for me to organize both at once or do both at
Yeah.
once. So
Yeah.
give Superfly time. We are in. We're getting into December soon, so Superfly will start happening again probably January.
And what would you tell people to expect from the, but obviously Spread Eagle's been doing their thing for a while. You said you're kind of just a straight ahead rock and roll band. But SupaFly is a pretty new project, man. For people that haven't checked it out yet, what would you say to expect from the SupaFly album as opposed to what people know you doing in Spread Eagle?
Well, SupaFly is just straight up groovy. It's heavy and groovy, man. So I think people, Scott, it's usually. I think I got all my emotional yah-yahs out on this first album, so I think now I might have a little more fun. Add some humor into things. So we're all about deep pockets, keeping it very heavy and very cool. It's I can do anything I want with it, so I really don't know what it's going to be, but it will be heavy and fucking. It'll be on the beat. It'll move your body.
Yeah.
It'll make it feel and it'll make it move.
And you got your yayas out, as you said, which is always healthy, I believe.
Got to get your yayas out.
You want to get your yayas out, yeah.
You don't get all pent up and you get stuck in the bathroom all day.
Ray, listen, man, I'm glad we finally got a chance to get up and do this, man. It was really an honor and a pleasure getting to meet you. We're connected online now, so stay in touch, man. I would love to do this again, man. This was a lot of fun.
Listen, man, I had no idea. You are fucking awesome.
Thanks.
There's cats that do this for the right reason. I can tell you do it for the right reason. So
I do. I've done well over 200 episodes. After I'm done here, I'll send you the playlist of all my past episodes, man. There'll probably be a bunch of people on there that you know and that you love, or So I think you'll enjoy perusing back. It's a tough world nowadays because I say this all the time. Yeah, used to be you couldn't fucking reach out in the pre-technology era. You couldn't just reach out and again, there's still people that I can't attain. Yeah, sure. Would I love to have James Hetfield on here? Yeah, but I can't just reach out to him on Facebook. You know what I mean? So, there are people that sometimes seem a little out of the realm, and I can't just reach them the way I can some other guys. You got to go through publicists and management, and sometimes people want to get paid, or they look at your podcast and they say you don't have enough subscribers or enough views. You're too DIY and you're too small or whatever, man. And everybody's podcasting nowadays, man. So it is kind of dog eat dog, you know what I mean? But I mean, I still love doing it, man. I love just putting great conversations up here with people. I say all the time, people that I have on here I didn't just pull their name out of a hat. They've come on my radar because I like what they do, Well,
you said it, I think conversation is important.
It is.
And I think good conversation is important. And some people do this and there's a phony element to it. They just want to hear their voice, heard. But you got some great questions, and you're easy to talk to. I've met a few people doing this, which is super cool, man. So thank you, and let's talk again. This would be great.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Ray, so much, man. It's great talking to you, man, and thanks for making the time. Means a lot, man.
Oh, and I got to add, Tina Turner and Janis Joplin. There you go.
All right, so we're extending the Mount Rushmore even more.
Yeah, Tina Turner goes on there.
I guess we're gonna have to call South Dakota and tell them to get up on that rock and start fucking chiseling more.
Yeah, right.
Mount Rushmore needs to be more than 4 faces. It does. Thanks, Ray. Really appreciate it, brother. This was a lot of fun, man. Thank you so much, my man.
Peace, man.
Good talking to you, brother. Thank you.
You got it.
Later. There he goes, folks. Ray West, lead singer, vocalist, frontman for Spread Eagle, New York's fucking own, and also a new band now, SupaFly, SUPA, SupaFly. Their new album just came out this year called The Vibe. which is much heavier than what he does in Spread Eagle. But I think people will dig it. I fucking dig it. Rexx Ruger fucking approved. Go fucking do yourself a favor and check it out. And of course, go back and check out Spread Eagle, their last album, 2019's Subway to the Stars. But as you heard Ray say, expect new music. Fingers crossed, hopefully from Spread Eagle in 2025. But meanwhile, you've got the old stuff to listen to, and you got Ray doing his thing on The Vibe, his new album, or by, his new band, SupaFly. So go check out The Vibe. It's, as I said, it's a departure from what he does in Spread Eagle, man, but in a fucking good way. It's heavier. It's more fucking riffed out. It's more aggressive. But still very melodic and just fucking awesome, man. And Ray, one of the fucking awesome guys in rock and roll, man. Great front man and just a great dude. So I hope you guys enjoyed that episode. Thank you so much to Ray West. Do yourself a favor. Go check out SupaFly. Go check out Spread Eagle because I said so. And I am the son of Diamond David Lee Roth Jr. So I know something about rock and roll. I'm going to be proving it very soon. My lawyers will be proving it very soon that you're looking at the son of glam, the front man for the band, adored by millions of fans, the peanut butter to your jam. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Mr. Wop, bop, blue, bop, wop, bam, bam. Shazam, hot damn. Still looking good at the end of an interview. My goodness, it should be a fucking crime. And again, let me get the product placement in there. Get this, kids. Use it. Help out with the hole in the ozone layer. This is what got it done back in the 80s and the 90s, kids. You might not get the quaff like Roth, but you can probably get pretty damn close. You'll never look rock star good. That's fucking impossible, man. I've got Roth genes. So, as I always say, don't hate, congratulate. Use some of this in your life, and maybe you can get even a fraction of this good looking. Miracles do happen. That being said, thank you to Ray West, man. Super fun episode, man. Super great guy. As always, make sure to like and follow PodScum on Facebook and like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell on this channel to stay tapped in where the cool kids come to chop it up with your boy, Rexx Ruger. And on that note, I will end this by reminding you all to take it easy and keep it sleazy.